Okay, gang, it is March 22nd, 2025. Let's kind of check out a couple of things that are going on, a few things I wanted to look at. Let me see here. I wanted to see this video. Dems are burning their party to the ground.
It's a legitimate social act.
So, yeah, just kind of wanted to see what people are thinking about the Democrats right now. Gosh, the other day they had like a 27% approval rating. It's like the lowest rating. I think someone said like 50 years or something. Really, really rough. Let's go ahead and check this guy out.
Action on the left, and number two, climate change activism was always theater. The concern for the planet went out the window when their largesse was threatened by Doge, and now they can torch their holy grail, which is the electric car. So they aren't actually burning Tesla to the ground. They're burning their party to the ground, and I brought marshmallows.
Okay, Jessica, the Dems have railed against domestic terrorism for years. And in fact, the 13 who had proposed a federal domestic terrorism law apparently refused to respond to Fox News as to whether or not they felt that they agreed with this being domestic terrorism.
I don't know who they...
Yeah, anytime you have to use the word firebomb, it's super likely that it's terrorism. Anyone firebombing anything else is usually a terrorist. So, I mean, yeah, this insane hatred for Trump is going to cause just super radical people to do insane stuff, right? So I don't think anyone really hates Musk. They hate that Musk supports the party that they don't like. All right, and it would be really tough to sway my opinion on that. All right, so they hate Musk, right, and so they hate Tesla, and so they hate Tesla drivers, and it's like they have to follow so many logical loopholes to get away with their hatred. It's so crazy. I don't know. Let's see.
I would advise anyone who can go on the record and is in any position of power to come on and denounce any violent action. I think it's pretty simple.
I've only heard of Ro-Khanna, though.
Well, there have been more people who have said stuff about that for sure. I think Bernie has talked about it. Jasmine Crockett has spoken about it, and she's the one who
is
said
behind March 29th.
But she said, don't be violent.
She said that while saying, it's my birthday, I can't wait, Elon's gonna go down. Well, come on.
Okay, do you want to then take responsibility for everyone who sent a pipe bomb that was influenced by Donald Trump? Anyone who...
Yes, if you set a pipe bomb, you are a terrorist, and we should go after you. What is it? Am I dumb? Or is it just that I grew up in post 9/11 America? If you bomb something, you are a terrorist. That's it. We don't need like why are we trying to fight this so hard? This is crazy.
Bomb.
What
pipe bomb?
The guy from Florida who was sending pipe bombs to prominent Democrats like Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, George Soros.
That guy was a terrorist, and I hope he's in jail, right? And by the way, this woman is executing at the lowest level just the worst argument that liberals have been using super heavily lately, and it's like well, what about the other side? Well, what about your terrorists? It's like, yeah, they should also be in prison. They're also crazy people who use bombs. They are terrorists. They're crazy. They are violent, destructive people. They should be in prison. Our terrorists, your terrorists, whatever. But you have terrorists.
Is that now?
So you got one example?
No, I don't have one example. People who show up and shoot up Walmarts looking for brown people. You want to take people who've been influenced by Donald Trump?
But that's not Donald Trump calling for that.
Really?
The Democrats are calling for the destruction.
No one is calling.
Tim Walz is calling for the destruction of the company.
He's saying he wants the stock to go down. And I said yesterday, I thought that was really stupid. And Ro-Khanna is right. His 20,000 people who work at Tesla. There are hundreds of millions of dollars in Tesla stock that fuel these pensions or fund these pensions, I should say. It has to, that part of it absolutely has to stop. If you don't want to buy the car, don't buy the car. If you want to sell the car, sell the car. But Donald Trump saying on Truth Social that maybe you'll go to El Salvador. At this moment, when the ACLU attorneys are reporting that people have been falsely sent to El Salvador, which is what we said was going to happen, they're being sent back because guess what? They're not Venezuelan, and also they sent some women, and El Salvador doesn't want to take women. Are you going to finally admit that the way that they are vetting these people is inaccurate?
Oh, you're into vetting now. Vetting is good now.
That's so funny. You guys are so cool. What about the Venezuelan soccer player who was tortured by the Maduro regime and was sent to El Salvador? He had a legitimate asylum claim, went through a legal port of entry.
What about the Americans who've been murdered by illegals? Let's not do all this.
See, here's the problem. She is right. She is technically right. The best kind of right. No, she's 100% correct. If somebody is sent to the wrong country because of these deportations, that sucks. But what you need to ask yourself is, does it suck so much that people will change their mind about these deportations? I don't think so. I think most people understand that if you're trying to deport millions and millions and millions of people, there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be mix-up. There's going to be accidents. And I think people don't care. I don't think people care. I think that they would care if all of them were in really good positions. You know, like I always say that, like, I wish the world were in a good enough place for me to be liberal. I really do. If everyone was rich and happy and every American was living the best possible life, I'd love to be liberal. It'd be great. But unfortunately, this is the real world, and shit like this happens, and that doesn't mean that we are not being invaded by immigrants and that they are going to be deported. It sucks. Shit happens. We move on.
Why not? Because it doesn't suit you right now.
Democrats and whether or not they're voicing any kind of negative. It's not ridiculous.
It is.
The question was a simple one, and you can't answer it.
I did answer it. I answered it explicitly because I'm a grown-up.
All right.
And I can say, oh, Janine asked me a question. Here's my answer. Also, Janine, then could you answer my question? Do you think it's okay that innocent people are being sent to a foreign gulag?
I think that what's important is that we get rid of. Okay, I think what's important is that we get rid of the criminals in this country. That your favorite president allowed to come into this country and create
criminals.
To create all kinds of havoc in this country. And you know what? If you want to talk about vetting, then we have to talk about Joe. But Jesse, let me ask you this: is it time to invest in Tesla?
I'm invested. I've been invested, so go for it if you want. Am I in trouble now, Jessica?
I probably am invested too.
Okay, good. So tell your people to stop firebombing. 80% of the country is not happy with the services that they get from the federal government. So Donald Trump's response is, let's make things more efficient. And their response is, let's throw Molotov cocktails. So we're either dealing with the mob or we're dealing with children. And you have to deal with these people the same way.
I think they're mobs of children.
Discipline, not sexually, behind bars, Jessica. And notice all the suspects are trans. Have you seen these mugshots?
Yes.
What is going on with the connection between militancy, transgenderism, and mental illness?
Can I say it? I want to say it. I'm not going to say it, but I want to say it.
I'm just raising questions here. Maybe some PhD can look into it. But every time I see eco-terrorism, every time I see Tesla terrorism, anytime I see Antifa terrorism, or bathroom terrorism, if that's even a thing, it's a big like person with purple hair, and you can't really tell what gender they are.
Jerry Nadler is guilty of that. Bathroom terrorism.
Musk, Greg is right. They're giving him the Trump treatment, and we saw what happened. They tried to kill him twice. If they kill Musk, we're not going to go to Mars, we're not going to have cars, and we're not having robots.
I think we would probably still have cars in a world where Musk was off the table. That's a bridge too far, buddy. Oh, man.
I have always wanted a robot, Jessica. It's basically...
You do. It's Johnny.
but we have to pay and feed him.
Johnny complains too much.
I
for
want a
testing.
genius butler to follow me around and do whatever I want. Don't deny that to me, Jessica, because that's where we're going here. The media always thought they had this clever question, remember, do you believe the 2020 election was stolen? And thought it was this big gotcha. Well, let's go ask the Democrats. Do you believe these people should be torching cars? Do you believe that an American company should lose 100,000 workers because of fire bombings?
Yeah, that's a big thing. You can talk smack about rich people. That's fine. You know, Tesla as a company, from everything I have heard, treats their employees outstanding. Imagine that you are the average person in Texas and Tesla moves a plant into your hometown and you get a fantastic job working at a Tesla factory, right? And you're doing great. You're 20, 30K above what you'd be doing anywhere else, right? And you get stock just for working there. And then a bunch of angry, psychotic liberals start torching them and start this campaign of mindless hatred against the brand. And all of a sudden, you, who thought you had your life made, all of a sudden, now your retirement's in question because Tesla stock was driven into the ground by crazy people. Like, that is a real thing that could be happening to an American right now. And liberals are so weird and hateful that they think that they are negatively impacting the richest man on earth. This is terrorism. You're bombing cars and buildings. And I hope you are prosecuted to the full extent of the law so that it stops. Not just for, not just for Tesla employees, but just for people who bought one, who shouldn't have to live in fear that some wacko near them is going to do something crazy. It's insane.
I'm going to send Johnny, my robot, to D.C. on Monday when they're back from recess to ask these questions because they should have to answer it.
You think they will?
I'd like to see him try.
Yeah,
You
I'd
just
like
want
to see
Johnny
them
out
try
of the
too.
city.
I mean, I would love to have seen the outrage when people were crossing over the border and it was just completely out of control. Where were the activist judges saying, wait a minute, we have a border there. You're not really allowed to let people across these borders. And then they were taking the lives of people like Lake and Riley. So I think there's a lot more sympathy on that side of the equation than there is for someone who may have been who crossed the border, mistakenly taken somewhere else, and now they have to iron that process out. I do think that, this domestic terrorism issue is real. This is scary. Like, someone's going to get hurt in all of this. People are burning cars. This is not a nothing. It is domestic terrorism, and the sentence for that is 5 to 20 years. So, yes, they will go to some prison or institution if they're convicted.
And they should. I don't know when the last time anyone watching this has bought a car, but cars are very expensive. I worked in the auto refinance industry. I brokered cars between banks, essentially. And I can tell you that people pay outrageously for any car on the fucking road these days. But Teslas are not cheap. If you're an American and you saved $10,000, $5,000, whatever you have to put down on a Tesla these days, so that you can have your car, and some broke fucking liberal comes and torches it because they believe that Elon Musk is a Nazi. Ah, yes, the Nazis. We all remember when they balanced a budget. Nah, Nazis are famous for something very different. Yeah, dude, imagine if some delusional liberal destroyed your dream car because they're fighting some anti-Nazi war in their heads. Like, we have let delusional people be delusional for far too long, and they are going to be the people who get affected the worst because they're going to end up in fucking prison. So,
Of all of this, and I think that's why I feel for Elon Musk in this situation, he had to go talk to the people that work for him. I'm sure they're also worried about what's going on. They're probably worried for their own safety. I think that's why President Trump last week did the row of Teslas outside the White House. He's trying to support the person that he's working so closely with in a time that is scary for them and for the company. And I'm trying to figure out what people are so deeply outraged about. We have a $9.7 trillion budget, and he cut $115 billion. This is what is this what people are so upset about?
We're going back to the
Minuscule cuts?
What is that,
Well,
like 2%?
I'm glad that you
Maybe
admit that he's
2%?
so ineffectual. But what
I
they
think it's
are
about
upset
2%.
about is that someone who is unelected is coming in and haphazardly firing tens of thousands of people, cutting programs, having to reinstate it.
65,000 people, many of whom weren't showing up for work anyway.
But that's
when these
not
kind of cuts happen in corporate
veterans
America,
like
do
Jesse's
these people
friend.
freak out and say, oh, a board member suggested these cuts and I'm outraged?
He didn't just suggest it. He's
For the record, for people who have never worked in corporate America, if you do work in corporate America, layoffs are super common. It happens all the time. A company just decides, you are not profitable enough. I am sorry. And if you get laid off, you are incredibly lucky if you get some sort of severance to tide you over for a couple of months until you find a new job or you know, just to bank some money. You know, if you get severance pay, you're very fortunate. I have received severance pay twice in my life from some pretty prominent companies. And the severance package that these government employees are getting seems super reasonable. On par or better with any private sector severance that I've ever seen or heard of.
marching in everywhere, and he's executing them.
He's executing them.
Executing
killing
them.
anyone.
Love the active verb there.
my God.
Up next, the
Is this a
progressive
joke?
Bonnie and Clyde are hitting the road. AOC and Bernie Sanders are bringing their wonderful radical message to a town hall near you.
Click here to subscribe to the